Nagaroon 24, your source for news, entertainment, food, and jabba jabba put on your thinking caps. Some but out of it, prepare for your debut and conditions. This week on Nagaroon 24, many events are happening throughout the world. Many events indeed. Several of these events are very eventy. There are so many things going on in the world. Oh my. All this and more on 124.
Hello, everybody!
That was a mistake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. How's everyone doing on this fine, fabulous, wonderful, Lumlauti Friday, October 20th, 2017? As always, welcome to Niagara 134. I am Nico.
I'm Joe.
I'm here.
Yeah, Bobby's here. Most people forget that he's here. As a matter of fact, some of our listeners say they're like, "Oh, I actually forgot Bobby was there until the end when he said I'm still here."
Yeah, my uncle asks how 5 people got it, and I say it's not 5 people, it's mostly 2 people.
It's mostly how did 5 people.
5 people.
How did 5 people get in?
Who are the other 2 people?
Well, you know, we have James who comes to do the weather. It is currently bloody cold out, and tomorrow it's going to be even bloody colder.
Hey, James.
And then sometimes we have the Russians come in and they're talking about all their Playboy generals, remember?
Vodka, Boris Yeltsin.
Boris Yeltsin. See,
Yes.
I prefer Gorbachev.
Well, Yeltsin was drunk all the time, so it's more funny.
And Yeltsin drank himself to death before the Putin will get in our way.
Yeah, that's the Russian song. Then, of course, there's the James song. I've never met a nice South African. And that's not bloody surprising, men, because we're a bunch of ignorant boss.
Hey! Wait! We can't sing that on here.
So
can.
how was the last 2 weeks? Because I wasn't here last week. Very obviously.
Bobby, you were here.
I wasn't here.
You were here at the end.
No, it's okay.
He was dead.
You're here when Biceps McGee showed up.
Biceps McGee had a lovely sit when we talked about politicos. So give us the news.
Cuphead.
So we're
Cuphead's awesome. It's very hard, but it's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
It's very good.
Do you notice that Joe kind of looks like Cuphead?
No,
Minus the straw. I don't have the straw.
No.
Also, my head does not look like a cup.
It kind of does.
No, it does not.
It looks like one of those weird ramekins.
Oh, this is coming from your head. Your head looks like an Easter Island statue.
What?
Yes, it does. Look at the amount of
Easter
forehead
Island
I have.
statues don't have hair for miles.
Exactly.
I like my hair just starts back here now.
Yeah, it's slowly retreating from your skull.
I am balding profusely and yet have massive amounts of hair.
Yeah. Bobby, headlines.
I'm every single wrestler ever.
Bobby, headlines. What you got for
Headlines. Oh my gosh.
Even footlines.
On the news
Footnotes,
subreddit. Oh
headlines.
my gosh.
Wombat
Oh my
lines.
gosh.
Forget
All right,
news. Let's just talk about.
No, wait.
First headline: Billionaire Bill Gates announces a 1.7 billion investment in U.S. schools.
Yep, Gates Foundation. That's
not a
no
lot of
surprise. That's not a lot of money. For Bill Gates, especially. That's not a lot of money.
I'm donating my spare change.
Yeah, what I found in between my couch.
Announced that Thursday that his foundation will invest more than 1.7 billion in public education money that will go to support schools.
So, Buffalo and Rochester are teaming up to try to get the new Amazon headquarters here.
So what percentage did you put on us getting
we
that?
get drone
Buffalo's
shipments?
not getting it, but according to one of the top lists, Rochester is in 4th place to be getting it.
Rochester?
Yeah.
Yo, I mean,
Rochester.
So if Rochester teams up with Buffalo and creates an unstoppable force, it'll be great because I'll just stay here in Niagara Falls and be like, hey, y'all can live here.
I'm moving to
Y'all can
Rochester
live-
for my drone shipments from Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gonna hang. There are a lot of things in
No,
I've
it'd
been
be
to
really.
Rochester a few times.
What'd be really funny though is, I mean, Niagara Falls didn't put it in, but it'd be funny if they look at Buffalo and Rochester and go, I like this area. I'm gonna build it right on the giant toxic waste dump in Niagara Falls. Which, spoiler alert, here's what came out in the news, guys. I don't know if you heard this, but the giant garbage dump in Niagara Falls is the reason that
garbage.
everything smells.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
The
I've
giant garbage-
seen that. I've driven by that dump many
And
times.
actually, and I like how this was a news story because I'm like, everyone knows that you drive by the dump, it smells like horrible. But allegedly, like, the government came down and was like, you've been lying about your emissions. You've been over-emitting toxic gas. And they're all like, no, we're not. No, it was Bobby. Bobby was emitting all
Yeah,
the
I'm
all the
full
dumps.
of
Bobby
really
does-
full of toxic gas.
Yeah.
He really is.
It was Bobby. And then they're like, no, it's you. You're going to pay $64,000.
Wow. That's crazy. Hey, guys, I got a cool story.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No,
So
you
you
Cool
know,
story, bro.
So you know how in politics, they're currently arguing over the tax plan, right?
Well, Canada just dropped their business tax down to 9%, so.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
nice.
Canada,
Well,
our home and
Native land, true patriot.
Trudeau, patriot.
Damn. Okay, here's the thing. Trudeau seems like he could be a decent guy. It's just that he's a figurehead for what I hate about the Canadian left. Like the Canadian.
Last week you said you wanted his head on a plate. Now he's not that bad of a guy because
still
he
wa-
talked about Gord Downie and cried.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't hate him for crying for Gord Downie. Gord Downie's a national hero in Canada, and the Tragically Hip are
They
like
don't have a
national
lot of national heroes in Canada. They're Canada.
Well, they do.
They have a prime minister song.
They do.
Need we play the prime minister
Please
song?
don't. But here's the thing. I still don't like Trudeau because, like I said, he's a figurehead for everything wrong with the Canadian
But he was
government.
voted the hottest head of state.
I don't care if he's hot. He's still terrible for Canada.
But
given
that
some of
means
his
nothing.
political
Obama
views.
was great because Obama was hot.
Oh yeah, Obama. Yeah, let's ignore him selling guns to South American drug lords. Nah, that didn't happen.
Bammer was hot. Therefore,
Yeah, let's
people
ignore
love
Fast
him.
and Furious, folks.
That's why
let's
it's
ignore
kind of
that.
weird that it's kind of weird that that Paul Ryan never won. I think it was that point. I think it was
What,
that
with his
pointy.
gym pics of him
Yeah.
pumping iron?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at me.
I can run a 4-minute mile if you add a couple more minutes on there.
Yeah. But getting back to it, so I'm not sure you saw, but CNN hosts these debates at times about issues, and my dad and I just so happened to tune in. I think it was Ted Cruz versus Bernie Sanders on taxes. And that
Why?
was really interesting to watch.
When was this recently?
Yeah, this was recently. Yeah, it was very interesting because both of them basically being the polar opposites, it was of course extremely entertaining.
Ted Cruz is getting real weird on Twitter.
Did you see that?
What- yeah,
He tweeted out the Zodiac Killer message.
He's tweeted out that. He's tweeted out
And
the
they said-
adult film thing.
They
He's
said
tweeted out.
they think that now that Ted Cruz has tweeted out the Zodiac Killer thing, he killed the meme. So therefore, Ted Cruz, Zodiac Killer, can now die.
Yes, thank God it can finally die the death it
I
deserved.
don't think you understand how brilliant Ted Cruz is in this. He knew it would kill the meme. It's like when you like make jokes about your dad, and then your dad makes a joke about himself, and you're like, oh, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Time to make jokes about Uncle Bobby.
This is how to
Yeah,
kill a
me
meme, folks.
How do you kill the meme? Go danker.
Go tanker.
We ain't dank enough.
I got another story here. My dude's
My dudes.
Trainee McTrainface becomes official name for Swedish Train.
We need to stop.
There's a picture of it right there. Trainee
Rainy
McTrainface.
McTrain face.
That's almost as good as Bodie McBoatface for that one British boat. What is with the public
Almost as
and this naming
I
pattern?
mean, it's Sweden, but
The Swedes. What is with the Swedes?
I think Sweden is better than us. But
No one is better than us, Bobby. Remember that.
Ooh, yeah.
No one's better than us.
Sorry, I was reading my class got canceled.
Who's better? Hey, Nico, who's better, us or Sweden?
Oh, are you kidding me? Us.
Yeah, thank you,
Sweden
Nico.
is garbage.
Sweden's nice.
It's
Yes, Stockholm's beautiful.
I'm sure they all talk like that.
Yes, they do. Have you ever been to Sweden?
They don't. I have Swedish relatives.
My
relatives.
apologies. They all sing like bad techno music.
Have you heard their metal? Sweden's one of the most metal-friendly
Swede
countries.
metal?
Swedish metal.
Swede metal?
Like Ghost.
Yes, everyone loves Swede metal.
Like Ghost, yeah. A phenomenal
Swede
band.
metal.
The heavy metal, fjords, Vikings, all sorts of good things in Sweden.
Frozen's Norway. Sorry.
Frozen's Norway. The Norwegians and Swedes get really angry if you mix them up. Like, they get really angry because they're very different cultures.
Okay, isn't Sweden is IKEA, right?
Yeah, Sweden's IKEA.
Yeah, right then and there.
That's not the whole culture!
No, yes, it is.
No, it isn't!
It literally the IKEA logo is the Swedish flag.
Yeah! Because they're Swedish!
Like, and I don't even mean, like, it's the color of the Swedish flag. I mean that, like, Sweden decided the IKEA, just the words IKEA are now their flag and wave it everywhere.
IKEA...
And give you Swedish meatballs, which are just worse Italian meatballs.
Hey, they're good.
Italian meatballs are better.
IKEA
well,
did,
yes, but the Swedish meatballs are still good.
No, okay, here's the thing. Italian Americans have perfected food.
Being Italian, I'd like to say yes,
Yeah,
but
no, it is a fact.
the French would argue otherwise.
Okay, the French, because here's the deal. Like, the French made a bunch of cream sauces and stuff, and guess what the Italians did and said? Hey, you see those cream sauces? Well, us Italians that are here in America are gonna amp it up, and then we got Alfredo.
And Alfredo's delicious.
They're like, hey, let's pour it on pasta.
It's delicious.
Never-ending pasta bowl at Olive Garden.
Or
IKEA.
breadsticks. Endless breadsticks.
Just the breadsticks. It's never-ending pasta bowl.
And breadsticks.
Just get endless amounts of pasta. It's always never-ending breadsticks day.
Yeah, but I love them breadsticks.
You need to chill.
I've been to an Olive Garden once.
You've been to an Olive Garden. You really are Italian. Wow.
I don't like it. We have so many. Why would I go to an Olive Garden when my mother can cook twice as better than an Olive Garden?
Because A, you either go for never-ending soup, which is like the best lunch ever, because their zuppa toscana is really good, or you go for never-ending pasta bowl, which is a bunch of really mediocre pasta.
Not as good as, say, my mother's Alfredo.
It's not supposed to be good. It's supposed to be a lot of randomness.
Listen, my mother is a microwave, so it's just as good.
You were bored? Yo! You were bored of a microwave? So, by the way, this is just confirmed. So, did you come out of the microwave as a child and then you just popped out of the microwave?
I've met your mother, Bobby. I swear if your mother's listening to this, she's gonna kill you. She's just, like, not even subtly. She's just gonna, like, there's gonna be a brick through the window.
We're gonna see this on the evening
Covered
news.
in Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, we're gonna see this on the evening news. Child murdered by parent when saying she was a microwave.
Child murdered my microwave.
At Not the Onion.
I'm on Not the Onion right now. I was gonna read something.
Yeah, what you got?
Breaking news from the Ottawa Citizen. It's loading.
Oh no,
Well,
what
the
happened in
Wi-Fi's
Ottawa?
really garbage.
Well, let me.
It's not about Ottawa in particular, but
Ottawa?
a report. The only thing stopping dolphins from destroying us is a lack of hands.
Ha! Oh, that's stupid. What's that from?
It's from the Ottawa Citizen.
Okay, Canada, you need to stop
But
with
it's,
this.
No, they're right. Have you not read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, I get it. They.
So long,
And thanks for all the
fish.
By the way, the answer to the universe is
That it should
42.
come to this. Like, someone figured out that like 42 is like Sanskrit for something that means death, so the meaning of life is death. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to make you overthink because
Keep in mind, Aldous Huxley, when he wrote the book, he said, "I wrote the book when I was drunk and lying in the field."
Aldous Huxley didn't.
No, wait, not Aldous
It was
Huxley.
Douglas Adams.
Sorry, I mixed up the authors.
How dare you?
Stephen King wrote parts of it. Extremely high.
King wrote everything.
Stephen King wrote everything, but he said he came up with the idea while drunk and lying in a field.
Of course he did. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Always have your towel. Do you have your towel, Joe?
Yeah.
Good.
Of course I do.
Oh.
I also have my Babelfish. Shit, where'd I put my Babelfish? Oh, sorry.
Wow, I hit that so hard it dumped 8 seconds out of the
Wow.
feed. It never does
You
that.
said the S word.
I didn't.
How
Sorry, it
dare
slipped.
you?
I'm sorry,
How
it slipped.
dare you swear on my Christian home?
It's
Anne
not
Frank
like
children's Halloween costume.
it's not like I used
What?
the big one.
There's an Anne Frank children's
There's
Halloween
an Anne Frank
Children.
children's
Oh my
Halloween
God!
costume.
Oh, that's bad.
That's almost as bad as America.
No.
What are
So,
you? Oh, okay. We can all ask.
So wait, I do have something in the news again. So you hear about that controversy As usual,
No.
it's another controversy
No.
with Trump
No.
about him
No.
calling
No.
the
No.
families
No.
of
No.
dead
No.
soldiers.
No.
Man, you know what? I like playing
Wii bowling.
I like Wii bowling.
Wii bowling. I know, right? Wii bowling.
I hate you people.
Wii bowling. What are you gonna be for Halloween, Joe?
I'm gonna be the Wii remote.
Yeah, Bobby's being the Wii remote. So
I'm
what are
not
you gonna
really,
be?
but
You're being a Wii remote.
Oh, by the way, guys,
I'm
so
being a serial killer.
I should announce this.
Wow,
So
alright.
you're being you. You're just being you.
Hey!
Okay, so here's the deal. I used to do Pepsi Pass, where you like scan things and get free Pepsi points and stuff that
My
you could
Coke
turn in for
rewards.
stuff. Well, guess what happened? So Pepsi Pass is ending, so I had to cash in all my points.
My Coke
So I had to get like a
rewards.
Pepsi hoodie and like a Pepsi hat. But one of the things they had was a Switch prize pack for 300,000 points once I cashed in. So I'm getting like 2 Switch remotes, Zelda, Mario Kart.
you're not getting a Switch though.
No, but you can cash it. You could cash the box in a GameStop for like $200.
Okay.
So like I just got $200 for taking a photo every day.
Can I just rant on GameStop for a
No,
little bit?
no,
Because
you
I
can't.
just want to tell you how just.
Terrible
I know
they are?
somebody. Yeah, I know somebody who worked at GameStop.
Yeah,
they gave me the whole lecture on how terrible they
So
are.
long and thanks for all
They
the fish.
got rid of their cycle of life.
Circle.
policy
They're still
while
terrible because it's like
Circle of life.
even without the circle of life, he still said it was a completely disgusting work environment because nobody cares. Not only
I mean,
that,
if I were working at GameStop, I wouldn't care. You get like 12-year-olds coming in every day wanting to buy Call of Duty.
yeah.
It's like, hey, yeah.
But then he was like talking about how like the basically he told me the whole cycle of what happens when a new game or a used game comes in, and basically how you're supposed to try to sell people anything because they don't make any profits on new games. So whenever they just buy a new game, you're apparently supposed to hawk them all these other stuff so you can actually make a profit.
physical media needs to die.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
No,
does.
it doesn't.
So here's the deal. Here's something that actually came out from like the computer world that I can't even tell people. A lot of like the high-end computer scientists, like the Smarty McSmart head ones, are saying if you have any photos you have near and dear your heart, you better print them out because.
Well, I don't mean photography, but
there's
like,
there's a lot of data instability that's occurring where things are getting lost to the ages and people are just losing. So, like right now we're digitizing everything and getting rid of all hard copies. So like the school right now is getting rid of a lot of its microfilm because it just takes up space. Why do we need it? But if there was ever some sort of like collapse of a server, let's say like New York Times went and their entire digital archive went, pfft, we just lost 200 years of New York Times because we threw out all the original copies.
Yeah.
And that's what you see a lot of libraries switching to all digital.
Yeah, but still, you gotta keep on the original collection.
Yeah. Right.
Like, for example, I'm just gonna, because I'm wearing the shirt, the Grateful Dead archives, which are at the University of, like, I think Santa Clara, they have the original tapes.
Yeah.
They didn't get rid of all the original tapes are held in, like, this big vault of, like, the original good quality tapes.
Why is it we still don't have a perfectly stable format for, like, sustaining... I'm thinking, like, film.
Film?
Because
well, they do at the Library of Congress and that big vault where they put all the films.
What I mean is that, so we went from early film, which was nitrate, which exploded in cameras, like you can't watch it anymore.
Back in the olden days
Because
when it
everything
exploded.
explodes and burns down.
Everything kills
but
you.
most things now are like, celluloid. It does degrade due to heat and warping, and things can screw up the file.
But then you turn it into, like,
and
CDs.
then, wait, we went to VHS tape, and there's actually, like, a story about this. Have you ever watched Life After People?
Yes, I have.
Like, and VHS tapes will degrade over time.
Yeah.
But if stored in a proper environment, VHS tapes will last forever. The only problem is you can't copy them because it degrades each level because you're using basically a magnet can screw up a VHS tape.
Yeah.
The problem with a DVD, so this is where you get analog versus digital. With a digital copy, so with a physical copy, elements can destroy it. Like it can get torn, it can get ripped, ink can fade. With a digital copy, if there's an X instead of a 2, or like a single thing is wrong in the code, you've corrupted the entire file and now it's screwed. There is kind of things called like data corruption and data loss where files and that's when files start getting
there's something
pixelated.
called data corruption.
Yeah,
Well, I know that.
Shock.
the amount of times my save files have been corrupted
All
on
the
my
time.
console.
I mean,
yeah.
how many times am I
Well,
transferring a
consoles-
file and suddenly, my 40-minute audio is now 12 minutes because it just didn't copy all of it?
I remember that.
Like, all the time.
Yeah, especially when you were doing Sheepy, so that's why you had to stop.
I
Sheepy's
wasn't
show.
doing Sheepy's show.
Oh, when Sheepy was doing her show. Yes.
I'm not even dumping that. I don't.
Well, you were helping Sheepy, weren't you?
Yes, I'm Sheepy's editor-in-chief.
Yes.
I'm like I'm the Nina Garcia of Sheepy.
I don't get that reference.
It's Project Runway.
I don't watch that.
I'll restate what I said. Physical gaming media needs to die. But
Wait, well, people are always going to want a physical thing.
Here's the deal.
I don't. I
now here's
haven't.
the deal. But Bobby, you do a lot of online gaming.
A lot of PC,
Like
I
when
figure.
all of the games that I play, I always play offline.
yeah,
Yeah.
I play single player.
Can,
And that's becoming increasingly more complicated because everything's like on Steam or on something. Like I want it hard copy,
Well,
put the
DRM
disc in the
free, yeah.
machine. You know,
it doesn't have to be a hard copy to be DRM free. You can get DRM free from GOG and like Humble and stuff like that. But
DRM.
I know a lot of
I don't know what that means.
DRM is basically like you got to be online to play
Oh, okay.
it.
See, but here's the other deal. Like,
Steam isn't primarily like you don't have to. You can go offline on Steam as long as you have the game downloaded.
okay,
and,
but
like,
now here's how I got you, babe. Remember back when games were on discs and you had to have the entire game on the disc and not 50,000 downloadable content?
Well, that-
add-ons?
I
Here's the
remember
thing, right?
when they weren't greedy as heck.
Here's the thing, right? What if something's wrong in the original game and they have to update it? There, you can't download any kind of update for it that fixes
Most
it.
of the time, things aren't wrong in the original game.
I don't know. A lot of
There's
games.
not a lot wrong with
lot of-
either of the Battlefronts.
Unless,
Everything will
well,
have-
well, there
everything will
are
have bugs of some
yeah,
kind.
there are certain games
But now
that
game-
do get shipped out buggy, and they need
But
to be
now
like,
they're
for
getting-
example, like you ever heard of Vampire the Masquerade? It had to be fixed by modders in order to make it playable.
Day one updates that fix bugs, like so when they finish the game and it goes gold, like they're not completely done with it, and they have to still make changes to it because the game's releasing soon. They'll finish up, print all the discs, which takes away time from making the changes, and then before the game comes out, they'll work on a patch to release day one, which could be huge. And so you have to download that in addition to the physical game.
Yeah.
But back in the day before like the internet hookup was like, you would have buggy games that had issues.
Yeah.
But for the most part, your game had to be pretty rock solid before it got put on the damn disc.
Yeah.
Like you had to have it together. Nowadays, you could use that day one idea as a crutch.
Well,
like,
yeah,
oh man, there's
that's
a
what I
bunch of
just said.
bugs.
Yeah.
Let's keep crutching on this.
This shows the laziness of AAA development nowadays.
Indie
lazy.
stuff.
Yeah.
Indie stuff is
Really good.
perfected
Yeah,
because
indie-
they know.
because they
take
know
their
they only
time.
have one shot.
You got one shot. You're not. Oh, we're on. iOS update. Did you hear about the new iOS update sucking everyone's battery apart and crashing people's phones?
No.
Did you hear about
I
Apple being a
refuse to
garbage
update-
company?
It really is.
I
What's
refuse to
happening?
update my software.
Yeah, I have mine still on iOS 9. iOS 11 came out and they're like, guys, my battery just died in 2 hours. So then iOS like 11.1 came out like a week later, and they're like, its battery's still dying, and now my phone won't turn on. So then they did 11.2, and they're like, yeah, my battery's dying, my phone won't turn on, and now it starts screaming at me. And then they did 11.3, and they're like, okay, you just bricked my phone.
I've heard so many people being upset with their iPhones, and all I
Because,
have to say
well,
about that is
it's not even the
don't
phone,
keep
it's
buying
the,
iPhones.
It's the iOS updates.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
for
probably-
some reason they
Yeah.
death spiral it and they force it down your throat.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna talk about or maybe think about switching to Android. I don't know, maybe because like I don't know. We'll see.
I might
the,
end up
the,
switching to
the
Android.
biggest
end up.
appeal about Android is you don't have to go with one like manufacturer. Like you don't have to get a Samsung phone. You can get like LG. You can get other stuff. Like
Didn't it also used to explode as well?
Yeah, the Samsungs used to
the
explode.
S7 or the Galaxy Note 7 had problems with its battery,
It
but they
explodes.
fixed that.
It
with
exploded,
They
yeah.
fixed that with the Note 8.
They fixed that with the new model.
The new model.
Now
Now it won't blow
50%
up.
less explosive.
That's crazy.
You know, I
But-
knew
oh,
they
wait.
said the videos were realistic, but I didn't
It
think
wasn't-
that
it
those
exploded.
wars.
It wasn't every
I didn't think those videos of Iraq were that realistic.
It wasn't
so
every
that's a
phone
good
either. It was
that's a
like
good
a small
transition.
percentage of.
To Sharif don't like it.
Yeah, that's a good transition because I just got something over the wire. So, so the battle for Raqqa is over as ISIS forces have. The U.S. coalition has declared ISIS forces have been vanquished and the battle of Raqqa is over. U.S. forces has taken it with the help of the Kurds and the Iraqi military. Now, the issue comes when the Iraqi military and the Kurds meet up.
Kurdistan.
Yeah, so the Iraqis are kind of upset about the whole referendum thing and took the city from the Kurds.
No, don't worry about it.
No, I think
it's not a problem.
No,
not a problem.
We should probably worry about this.
It's not a problem anymore, according to every liberal. Why are we involved in the Middle East?
Well, it's not like we need to prop up secular governments because the Middle East has such a problem with theocracies.
What? No.
What?
No.
What?
No.
Seriously.
What? You insult the Middle East? How dare you?
Yeah, you're Islamophobic if you criticize Saudi Arabia. That's dumb.
I'm Middle Eastern, and you're offending me.
You're triggered.
I'm triggered.
Nico's very triggered right now.
I'm incredibly triggered.
He's extremely triggered.
I'm incredibly triggered.
He needs to go with the safe space.
I had to take. They have those things online that Harvard does. Is supposed to show your like natural bias towards individuals. And it said I highly favored Arab Muslims over any other group.
What?
And it was only because it did it based on name, and the only name that I would click agree to was like Sharif. Because it's a joke. Of Rock the Casbah.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it also said that, like, I remember one time I took it as, like, you are probably Asian. And I'm like, no, I was just watching a lot of anime that day.
Yeah. But also, you see, that goes to show that those tests...
Psychology is a myth.
Those tests that try to show that you have a psychological bias, those things are really almost impossible to actually tell, and so those things aren't accurate representations of people's actual opinions because people, I don't know, are complex.
How quickly you can hit buttons, and I'm really bad at hitting buttons.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Actually, speaking of that, I just got. Oh, this is an interesting thing. Look at this. So, a quote protester hugs Nazi outside Richard Spencer talk and asks, "Why do you hate me?"
Why are we hugging Nazis, my guys?
Well, it's a way...
we went from punching Nazis to hugging.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Because you know what? The Nazis enjoy when you punch them because then they get like the scouring. Like, yeah.
You know what?
And they also can use that against them. If you hug them and say, "Let's be friends," they hate that.
They hate that.
Hey.
It's like you should just start throwing My Little Ponies at them.
Hey, you know what comes out?
Can we pelt Nazis with My Little Ponies?
Can we talk
or give them cupcakes? Go around giving them "I love you" cupcakes.
Can we talk about the fact?
That's what they did in Germany.
I like they were
So
showing one Nazi guy. He looked exactly like the one at the end of season 1 of Rick and Morty when Summer and Rick.
That's something I gotta say. I got annoyed by the creator of Rick and Morty who advocated for political violence against, people.
I loved that scene. That was before that even happened.
No, he went on a talk and advocated for that, and I think that shows
Nazi in the face?
Punch a Nazi in the face.
I'm gonna say words
which,
now.
If you don't know,
Bobby's
that's
talking.
negative.
Let Bobby speak.
Wolfenstein 2 comes out next Friday.
And everyone's offended.
Well,
why are we offended about killing Nazis, my guys?
I don't know.
We've been killing Nazis in all the Wolfenstein games for the last 20 years.
The issue is during the advertising they said "Make America Nazi Free Again." You think they were kind of alluding to something there?
Hey, but I mean, come on. Call of Duty World War II's coming back. They're going back to World War II and Call of Duty, and everyone's be like, "Yeah, we're killing Nazis." Like, remember we used to kill Nazi zombies as JFK, and you'd be like, "Yeah,
that was fun."
Like, those were the good old days.
That was fun.
Like,
I'm excited for Wolfenstein because Wolfenstein: The New Order was a good game, and I really think this is
3 years ago. Yeah, let's kill the Nazis. 3 years
nowadays, like, no, that's too political.
Kill the Nazis.
Did you see? So, my homeboy, my favorite homeboy, came out of retirement to tell everyone they need to chill.
Who?
W.
He
came out of retirement to tell everyone this bigotry and white supremacy is blasphemy against America.
Yep.
And I was like, it's about. And I'm looking. I'm like, you actually polled. And everyone's like, oh, Obama came out of retirement. He's been quiet. He hasn't been quiet. He's been on Twitter. Like, Bush doesn't even have a Twitter. Bush is sitting there in his bathtub painting, and you so irritated W that he showed up and was like, what is wrong with this country? It seems as if the forces pulling us apart are stronger than the forces pulling us together. And this bigotry and white supremacy is blasphemy against our nation.
Yeah,
Our
true.
America.
Yeah, and it is
Against our creed.
It is becoming a big issue because and I've talked about this before on the show. It really is freaking me out that not just far right-wing Nazi extremists, but also far left-wing communists as well. Those two groups are really terrifying me that they are getting sort of publicity and sort of a little bit. I wouldn't say the far left is getting more support than the far right,
Well,
but they're still getting some form of support.
Here's the deal. So you know the thing where there's like sonic cancellation, where you can create silence by like if you're playing a sound and you play a sound that's exactly the opposite of that sound, it creates absolute silence because the waves cancel each other out.
Yeah.
If we blast the Soviet national anthem and the old German national
Deutschland
anthem
über alles.
on either side of the world and like blast that, like East Coast West Coast, and blast them into each other, do you think that will just create the perfect centrist government?
That'd be nice. That would be a nice
Where
thought.
everyone just gets along.
Everybody
and
just
isn't
gets
an
along.
extremist.
I thought you were the one making fun of me for liking John Lennon for his hippie sort of let's all get along.
That one's not
thing.
even hippie. That's just like, hey, let's blast two opposing national anthems a la World War II.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be nice, and it really is very troubling that these two movements are getting that much like sort
It
of
is weird though
publicity
because
and
it's
support.
okay to be Soviet.
It's okay to be a
Even though
communist.
it's okay to even be like Soviet. Like you could still buy Soviet medals, and everyone's like, yeah, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
I have a couple of flags with like hammer and sickles on them, and I know if I go into Eastern Europe, I'll be arrested.
Yeah, but
Like I just have them because I, was like studying Soviet Union and have these hats, and they're giant hats.
that's
They have
what
Soviet-
seems to be troubling to me. There's an acceptance for the sort of communist and Marxist not only ideas but sort of the iconography,
Well, they
whereas Nazi
really-
ideas and iconography
Well, here's the
is
diff-
rightful
so-
is
so
rightfully
here's the
rejected.
Communism is not.
Here's the difference. The Nazis killed a bunch of people they considered to be inferior to their quote-unquote master race, which
So
was a load of garbage.
you do realize Stalin
The
killed a
Russia-
lot of people,
but
right?
Stalin just killed people indiscriminately that he didn't like. There's a difference.
But he still killed a lot
Oh,
of
he
people.
killed even more people than
He
Hitler.
killed even more
He killed more
people.
than Hitler. Like, that's... I mean, it's debated, but it's still kind of known, like...
To me, they're both sides of the same totalitarian coin.
Yeah,
they're both
but-
terrible.
But Stalin
for-
won the war, so... I mean, first he sided with Hitler, but then he turned against him and won the war.
Well, because he invaded his... because Stalin was an idiot and thought Hitler would actually listen to him.
Yeah.
Can we talk about anime again?
Yeah, we need to quit Stalin.
We need to quit... Yeah, we need to stop Stalin for time,
have either of
and
you-
let's Soviet.
All right, I'm gonna ignore that. Have either of you guys seen anything to do with Neo Yokio?
No.
I'm not an anime person.
What is Neo
It's
Yokio?
it's made by Jaden Smith. It's an anime.
Oh, I've heard of this. I've heard of
Steve
this.
Buscemi voices in
Yes,
it.
I've heard of it.
It's really strange. I haven't watched it, but someone has been telling me about it.
Why did Jaden Smith make an anime?
I don't know.
Don't
but
know.
He's really weird.
He's white. I mean, wait, he's white.
He's not. He's not.
He's
white.
not. He's not.
Are you sure? Sorry, every time I think of cultural appropriation, I automatically assume the person's white, and I just realized, wait a second, other people can cultural appropriate too. He's
No,
black.
here's the thing. I don't...
Is he black?
No, wait.
But it's an anime
but
with
wait,
Steve
I just
Buscemi.
want to say
Is
something.
Jaden
Which is the
Smith
most
anything like, or is he transcended race, gender, and human
He's also
form?
going on tour with Fall Out Boy.
Is he Jim carrying out of control?
I don't know. But
There is no me. There is no existence. There's just a lovely scent.
I would like to make a statement about cultural appropriation.
No.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No.
No, but here's the thing. I
You're
don't think it's...
appropriating.
No!
White
Here's the thing.
Squanto.
No!
White Squanto.
Well, there's
The classic James... But here's the thing. I don't think if you, like... I don't think if, like, say, for example... two women got in trouble in Oregon for making a taco recipe that they learned
Oh,
in
yeah.
Mexico.
heard
And they
about
were
that.
accused
That's
of
not-
cultural
that's not
appropriation.
cultural
That's the cultural appropriation. That's a cookbook.
Yeah, but
Cultural
here's the
appropri-
thing. It's called that. Taking a culture and adding a new spin on and mixing cultures is
That's
a
not
good
a-
thing.
cultural
Yeah,
appropriation would be dressing up as a stereotypical Mexican for Halloween and going around saying, "Oh, I'm a Mexican."
I don't actually...
Actually,
people
it would
can
be
do that if they
it would
like.
be wearing a sombrero and a poncho with some bottles of tequila and running into Taco Bell going, "Ay caramba!" That would be offensive.
No, that would be a joke.
That would be a joke, but offensive.
Yeah, but still...
But I mean, when you went, I remember when you were a kid and you go to Mexican restaurants, they put the sombrero on your head and they sing happy birthday to you and give you a plate of sopapitas. I mean,
you're not intentionally dressing up as stereotypical.
No.
But
I mean, like, there was this huge.
But I see nothing wrong if I want to wear a sombrero and a poncho.
There was a magazine that did, it was a Japanese, they were showing, for, like, kids doing a Japanese tea garden, and they dressed up some white girl in geisha makeup, and, like, everyone was like, that's cultural appropriation! And then, like, the Japanese community came out and said, actually, we approve of this. She's not making fun of our culture. They're just trying to do a traditional Japanese tea garden with children and, like, showing that, and they're not doing it, like, obnoxiously. They're doing it, like, you know,
out of honest respect for it.
Out of honest respect. And everyone's like, you're offensive, and it's like, shut up, you're white. That was kind of like one time someone yelled at James used the completely offensive term Oriental.
Yeah, I don't think you use my dad uses Oriental.
You know, it's not the right term. But
Man, I love that
Ron was sitting there, and Ron,
I've toured the Orients.
Is like from Korea, and Ron, didn't exactly he kind of rolled his eyes over and was whatever. But like, some white girl came up to us and started screaming at us like, my friend is from Asia, and if she was here, she would like be triggered by this. And like, James just kind of looked at her like, yes, but A, she's not here. B, you're intruding in our conversation that was not even remotely near you because you were waiting for this to happen. And the last one, our Asian friend is sitting here and does not have an issue. So when a white person comes up and is like, you're being offensive to this specific group, and that specific group is sitting there like, no, because a black person is making a joke about an Asian person, and neither of them are offended at it.
Yeah, this is
I once looked at James and I told James, I said, James, you cannot be offensive because you're black.
No,
I said, you can't be offensive. I said, you can't be. No one will ever be offended. But
I don't believe you can.
You can.
Okay, here's it's a joke. Can I finish it?
I know.
So I looked at James and I said, James, you can never be offensive. You'll be able to get away with things because you're black. I said, however, you can't be offended. I, as the white man, must be offended for you. I must be offended on your part. You cannot be offended yourself. I must be offended for you. And only I can offend you. And only I can be offended for you.
Yeah.
We have taken... Which creates this scenario where you've basically taken away the power of a group to be offended on its own terms.
Yeah. That is an issue. And it's also the issue of outrage culture. And I've talked about the issue of outrage culture before.
Remember freshman year we talked about the one college that... I think it was like the Asian Student Union.
It was Berkeley, wasn't it?
No, yeah, I think
it was probably Berkeley.
The Asian Student Union, to point out the offensiveness of terms used against Asian students, wrote them on the sidewalk to point out that these terms were offensive. And students came out and attacked the Asian Student Union for writing these down because they were triggered by those words. Even though the Asian Student Union was writing down these words to tell people, you need to be aware that these words are inappropriate, and then someone came out and said, we are offended because you are offended that we are offended of offended.
That's the point they were trying to make. I think they did exactly what they wanted them to do.
But no, I think this gets to the root of it. The root of it should be that if you really want these words to not have power, and you really want these words not to offend people, the thing would be...
Stop using
No.
Ignore
to make sure that
ignore it.
Make sure it's not a big deal. Like
stop using them.
Yeah, like
guess what? If you know how a word long enough, it will go away.
Yeah. For example,
AKA the entire English language.
Yeah. So if you don't treat it as a big deal, then this word loses power.
Because you know that like jerks, and this is the same thing. Like I have this argument about like. I remember back in the internet days. Remember when it was do not feed the trolls? Whatever you do, don't feed the trolls. I feel like we are now in an era where all we do is feed the trolls. Like someone says something to incite us, and we go, "Ah, they're inciting us!" Start throwing bricks at their face.
Well, the internet culture of that day has become mainstream culture, like
the outrage culture.
Like what is? But I still remember back in the day. I was like, "Oh, someone's being stupid on the internet again." Okay, ignore them. Like, yeah, okay, just ignore them. And it's like nowadays we're all like, no, you can't. Ignoring is part of the problem. Like, no, because if, honestly, and this is like a fact, if you ignore something long enough, it goes away or it loses enough strength that it can't ever come back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, unfortunately, and this is another thing that I think my generation, because we learned everything book-wise or, minor systemic. When people are like, oh, things are horrible. Okay, we're nowhere. I actually had a discussion with one of my friends who said, I think now are the most stressful times to be alive. People have never had it. I said,
Really?
back in the day, you could be drafted into Vietnam and everyone day drank. The difference is the problem now is not that our times are more stressful, it's that our generation's tolerance for things that are stressful
We all got
is
anxiety,
way
my
lower.
guy.
We all have anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm an anxious
people
mess.
had anxiety, but they didn't have time to be anxious because they had to work and they had to support things and they had to go to war and they had to do and they had to and they drank. And everyone was drunk and everyone was smoking, and that's what everyone did. Nothing has really changed. It's just now everyone is a lot more aware of the fact. They're like, I'm so... And it's like... And I had to have a discussion where they're like, now, I think this is the hardest time to be alive. I think this is the most stressful time to be alive. I said, no, because you're not going to die of... you're not going to die of the flu.
Listen,
You're not going to get drafted to go get shot in Vietnam for no reason.
anytime I'm alive is the most stressful time to be alive.
But that's...
This is the only time I'm alive.
I'm going to give you a bit of self-help advice here. Take that, and I'm going to go into self-help guru mode. Here's the thing. You need to harness... What I did was I harnessed my problems, and by harnessing and mastering myself, I was able to make myself better.
You sound like
Joe, I'm going to say something incredibly wild here.
Yeah?
The millennials have no coping mechanisms, and it is not even remotely their fault. It is their parents' fault.
Yeah.
Because what happened was... After the boomers went wild, and then Gen X came along and kind of did whatever they felt like.
90s things.
And that helicopter parenting became a thing. And
I blame Oprah for that.
Once you get to the point where we get post 9/11 and everyone was so terrified, your kid, every sheltering, there was this smothering complex where it was like, your kid could not go outside to play because, someone might abduct them. Well, they can't walk to school and everything became like, shelter the kid, let nothing bad happen to your child. Let nothing bad happen to... This child needs a participation trophy because we can't let their feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, no, something's wrong. Then give them pills. We can't let them feel any pain.
It's a generation of coddling.
And basically... And that's what... The problem with my generation got screwed by the previous generation not realizing that was the dumbest thing they could have done.
Yeah, that's terrible for that. I think we were lucky because I think my parents never coddled me, and... No.
Like, I had parents that could back me. My mother would back me up to the end of the earth.
Yeah.
But there was no coddling.
There was no
coddling. There wasn't, like, if something went down, I took care of it.
Yeah. And my dad's usual advice for me was just don't die.
Exactly. My motto is don't die and don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
So where we're at is basically the previous generation messes up our generation and then proceeds to ask our generation, what is wrong with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not even like usually we'll say it's the boomers that did it, and a lot of like
I blame the boomers. I actually blame Oprah because she helped popularize this sort of helicopter parenting.
Depending upon who you ask, where the millennial ends and the next Gen Z begins. Like some people say it's 1994, in which none of us would be millennials. Other people say it's like 97, 98.
98 was when I was born.
The one that in PR firms use 95. So we're the only ones left, Bobby. We're the only ones left in this school that are millennials.
Meanwhile, I'm just here.
You're Gen Z.
I'm Gen Z, apparently.
You're the iPhone generation, I think.
You're the generation of Pokemon that nobody asked for but got anyway.
The generation of Pokemon. Yes.
The generation we needed, but not the one we need right now.
Like, depending upon... So, baby boomers end in 1964.
Yeah.
So, if you're born after 1964, you're Gen X. So, if you want to know where the problems are, it's Gen X. And it's been Gen X because all that yuppie culture that came in the 80s where everyone was like the later end of the baby boomers and the early end of Gen X was all that 80s, 90s yuppie living beyond their means. Oh, let's hire therapists because we are upper class and we have so much disposable income and we don't want to deal with real emotions and have to work.
The worst.
That's what happened. And look at, and it's funny because they started poking fun of it. Look at Rugrats. Look at the.
I watched that for
the psychologist and the child psychologist in Rugrats, which is based on Freud, is a joke. It's like supposed to be a joke. Like his name is Lipschitz.
That's
his name. Lonely Space Rugrats was, but I mean that's the other thing. It is so weird to see like nostalgia culture on Overload. Like FYE is starting to sell Reptar bars.
Hey, they're making a Hey Arnold movie, a new Hey
Yeah,
Arnold movie.
like no, why?
Because Hollywood or the entertainment industry is desperate for money.
I know we've run out of ideas, but
I mean, I don't think that's too bad. Like it's not like they're just going back and like rebooting anything. Like they're adding on to the original story of Hey Arnold.
I still don't think Fuller House needed to exist.
That did not need to exist.
I never watched Full House. By the time I even saw Full House, I was a full-grown adult and said this is a really dumb show.
Hated it as soon as
Because when I was a kid, I watched
it.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, very nice.
That was a good show.
That was a good show. Very
If you know the whereabouts of this murderer.
Contact.
Ed,
I was well adjusted. Ed and Eddie was the best.
Ed and Eddie was awesome.
But if they brought back Ed and Eddie, I never want to see them bring it back because they couldn't. And the creator, Antonucci,
yeah,
he even said, he's like, we can't bring this back in 2017. People would be so offended. You'd have to rewrite the character of Ed.
Yeah.
Which one?
The slow one. The slow one.
Not double D, not Eddie.
Not Eddie, not double D. You know, Ed. Hammerhead.
Buttered toast Ed.
Buttered toast.
Buttered toast.
This is a great show. I remember watching it. I remember watching that and Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
I have plank. I have an actual plank, like made of wood and like with the face drawn on it and everything.
Anything on Cartoon Network was really good.
Cartoon Network was
anything
awesome.
On any channel is good. Now the only good channel is Cartoon Network because Nickelodeon and Disney are garbage.
Well, Grim Adventures got me into Lovecraft.
Disney XD isn't garbage, but regular Disney.
Disney XD plays like older shows, don't they? Or do they have?
Didn't
new
they
shows?
start?
No, they have new shows.
Didn't they start
Star Wars
DuckTales?
Rebels is
DuckTales.
the final season.
DuckTales.
Why did they reboot DuckTales? Like, who wanted a reboot of DuckTales?
The Nostalgia Crick apparently
did.
No,
because we just wanted to go, ooh. Like, that's it. Like, because we wanted to sing along to the theme song.
Which will never leave your brain.
I feel like again in a duck bag. I never saw DuckTales. I've only ever heard the theme song, so, like...
I don't watch a lot of, like, Cartoon Network now, but, like... What is it called? Like Gumball? Is that the name of the show?
Oh, Gumball is the only good show left.
They have some weird stuff going on in that show. Like that's like an original Cartoon Network.
I love that show.
I haven't watched that.
That show is like sustaining, and it's been on forever. And it is such a good show because it's just like insane. That show is just like bonkers.
That show's something that would have came out the same time as Ed, and Eddie.
Oh yeah,
it's like the same.
I would come out a bit later than Ed and Eddie. It's more of the Billy and Mandy era.
It's more Billy and Mandy.
In fact, it's really more of the. But here's the thing: like, everyone talks about the dark ages of Cartoon Network, and like the dark ages of Cartoon Network was when they went live action.
Yeah.
Although I'm sorry, but Andrew WK's Destroy Build Destroy was a good show.
Well, because it had Andrew WK.
Andrew WK, that was the only reason it was good. And during that era, come on, The Secret Saturdays was a good show.
Oh yeah,
I love The Secret Saturdays.
You wrote
I wrote fan fiction of The Secret Saturdays.
And
and I killed Bobby. He was like, "Can I be in your fanfic?" I'm like, "Okay." I had him in for one chapter. He's Bobby the intern. He says hi, and I have them kill him.
Ha!
Right then and there, where he's assassinated. Like boom. Because that's what. Wasn't that a thing? Like some comic book offered like a fan to be in it, and they had them in for one single frame, and then blew them up.
Oh my gosh. Was it a Make-A-Wish thing?
No, it wasn't.
That would have been hilarious. Here you are, little Timmy. Here's your comic page. Boom.
But like people talk about like they're like, oh, remember the cartoons during like 05, 06 were really bad. Like My Gym Partner's a Monkey. I'm like, My Gym Partner's a Monkey was a decent show. Yeah. And one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows during the middle era that everyone hates it, Camp Lazlo was like...
Camp Lazlo was good.
Was the best. And I watched it, like, I watched it. Camp Lazlo is such a terrible show. I'm like, if you're not walking around being marshmallow buddies, you are not my friend.
I remember that.
Have you... I don't know, like... I know you only watch, like, Ruby from Rooster Teeth, but Rooster Teeth has another show called Camp, which is kind of...
No.
No.
Well, it is not Camp Lazlo. You will never have Scoutmaster Lumpus going Miami with his giant Hummer. Miami. He had a comet named after him, and he never got to see it. The migrating.
I
remember.
I remember when he thought he was gonna die,
Oh,
and so
man.
he was running around.
Remember how you remember? Oh gosh, the duck. And he wasn't a big kid yet, so he couldn't watch the big kid movies because he was a small kid. Because the planets never aligned.
That's
Me too.
okay.
Oh man, that was.
Did you have you watched the first episode of Ruby yet?
No.
No.
I'm behind on everything. I haven't watched the first episodes of the final season of Star Wars Rebels either. I'm really behind.
I don't watch that.
It's,
I've been busy
rules.
with things.
It's
Oh,
it's
did you
really
see?
good so far.
I gotta tell you this. You guys watch Extra Credits, Extra History? I have stopped watching.
I don't watch that.
I've stopped watching their game thing because they've become a propaganda wing for.
What? No.
Yeah, but their history stuff's still good.
Propaganda.
You want to know
The
some-
history stuff. They just started Otto von Bismarck.
You want to know something that happened? IGN bought Humble. I don't know if
What?
I don't know if you know
What?
what Humble is. It's a game store, like Humble store, and they do the Humble bundle, which it's like every week or something they have a different collection of games that developers can put in, and it's all for charity, so you can choose how much you want to pay, and depending on how much you get, the first tier, second tier, third tier, and then you can choose how much goes to charity, how much goes to developers, how much goes to Humble. So IGN bought them.
Well,
IGN's known as a really crappy review site.
I hate IGN.
So now-
I gotta go on a rant now. IGN are the worst. Okay, this is the website that had the gall to put Deus Ex below Call of Duty. Where do you have the stones, IGN, to put Deus Ex below Call of Duty? Do you
IGN
not have a brain?
IGN definitely takes bribes for game reviews because they review some stuff high that should not be reviewed highly.
They are just, if I can use the terminology, I want to say so many terrible things that they do for money, but I can't on this show.
I
so
feel
I'll
like
just
you've been
tell you.
waiting a while to do this rant, and Bobby just Deus Ex Machina'd your
Yeah.
ability to Deus Ex.
But yeah,
Right.
now people are worried that Humble's gonna go to crap because
Well, it will.
Because IGN
Like,
ruins
all
everything
all
they
good
touch.
things must be destroyed.
IGN ruins everything they touch. Once again, the website that had the gall.
Chill
Go!
out.
I hate them so much.
Yeah, I can tell. Let's go back to talking about cartoons.
Can I also say another thing? I just want to say another thing about the website I hate. I'm so happy Game Trailers is dead. I'm so happy they're dead.
I never.
Can we
watched
talk
anything
about something here, just real quick? Can we just talk about back to cartoons?
Enough of me screaming.
Okay, here's
you
the,
guys
like,
ever?
Billy and Mandy was
That was a
good,
great show.
but
I
Evil
used to
Con
watch
Carne was better.
No, I
Didn't
think
watch
Billy.
it.
Okay, here's
no,
the
Billy
deal.
and Mandy.
Now, well, remember it was Grim and Evil, and then Grim spun off into Billy and Mandy, and then Evil spun off into Evil Con Carne.
Yeah.
But Evil Con Carne was so weird and so good.
Well, so was Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, but Evil Con Carne was better.
But I think
like Billy and
no,
Mandy.
Billy and Mandy had a Jamaican.
His name was Evil Con Carne.
Yeah, but Grim was but you had a Jamaican Grim Reaper.
But that's why Grim and Evil was so good.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
only
but
lasted,
also
like 20 minutes.
Billy and Mandy. I gotta tell you this. My mother hated me watching that show.
So did my mother. Everyone hated it.
Every mother hated that show, but I loved it because it got me into Lovecraft. And
You know what was like a show that we thought was good, but you look back on it and you're like, how did we watch? Codename Kids Next Door.
That was awesome.
that was
What do you
good. I
think?
used to watch that. I used to watch that all the time.
That show was ridiculous.
Yeah, I used to watch
it
it.
had good moments, but that show was what was even going on?
I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid.
Oh man. Well, there was nothing else on. They never
TV
played enough. They
shows.
never played enough Ed, and Eddie.
They never did play
This
enough.
show's
Ed and Eddie.
sponsored
Ed,
by
Eddie was-
Cartoon Network.
Ed and Eddie was the best.
It was. I loved Ed
Okay,
and
best show on Cartoon Network ever.
during when I was watching it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a draw between Ed, and Eddie and Billy and Mandy for me.
I don't know.
Draw between those two.
I have to look up a list of Cartoon Network shows. I don't remember them all.
Because Billy and Mandy got me into horror and Lovecraft and Cthulhu.
I have
and
to
That's a
go
little-
with Ed and Eddie.
It's a big stretch there.
I have to go with Ed and Eddie very
Ed and
much.
Eddie are great. I'd still put Ed and Eddie.
Ed
up
and
there.
Eddie is still the best.
It's still a phenomenal show. Yeah.
Followed by the Secret Saturdays, because that show was. And I
Man.
didn't watch the Clone Wars long enough for it to develop good. So
Ben 10.
Ben 10 was garbage.
Ben 10.
Yeah,
Ben 10 was okay. The
I
worst
never
thing
got
that
it.
ever happened to the Secret Saturdays was 4 years. So in 2013, I want to say. So long after the Secret Saturdays was canceled, Ben 10 did a crossover with the Secret Saturdays and brought all the characters back, and I was like, no. no, don't, please stop, no. Like, you're ruining, and it was like Ben 10 Omniverse did it, and I'm like, no, please stop. This
Here we
art
go,
style is
former
bothering
original
me.
programming. Dexter's Laboratory.
That was good.
I used to watch it, yeah.
Powerpuff
Dee
Girls.
Courage, stay out of my lab!
Courage the Cowardly Dog. Best show.
Oh, my God, Courage, I got to... One of my...
slab, or suffer my curse.
Yes. Hullabaloo and howdy do.
that's my
Musty
best.
prawns and Timbuktu.
I'm going
So
with that
fool
for
me
the-
wife.
Wait,
shame
keep going,
on
keep
you.
going, keep
No, I was
going.
going with that for the best one. I don't
What?
need to read anything
Courage
Courage is awesome.
It's not
Courage
the
is
best.
Courage is awesome.
It's good,
There's
but it's
also
not the
Foster's
best.
Home for Imaginary
Foster.
Friends.
Foster's was great.
It was good until it wasn't.
Well, it was all right.
I like chocolate milk.
This is getting. You got Flapjack too. Flapjack.
No, that show triggers me for some things that happen in my life while that show was
I
on.
love Flapjack.
I hate Flapjack.
Flapjack was good.
Everything about Flapjack I hate.
I liked
I
it.
hate
you
it.
got
Hate it.
Chowder.
Hate that
Why?
show. Chowder I love. Flapjack I hate.
Why do you hate Flapjack?
Because things in my life that show.
Into the live
Chowder
action stuff
Chowder was
now.
great. Though.
Chowder was the best.
Chowder was great.
Chowder was
Alright,
the
I'm
best.
done reading that. That's good. That's good stuff.
I remember Chowder. I remember watching that. It was just the best.
I like
I
the part-
love the one episode where like he becomes super smart. And it's like, look what you've done. You've made cooking
I like
boring.
I like the part where they had to do a car wash to get the funds for to continue the show, and it just
Yeah, and it's all the voice actors just sitting there like, what do we do now?
Schnitzel fella. Night and day, it's Schnitzel fella.
or a great one was, there, now you can remove the stain from the screen. What about that stain? That stain doesn't come off. It's the Cartoon Network symbol.
Oh, man.
wow.
Okay, favorite Nickelodeon show.
None of them.
SpongeBob.
Old SpongeBob is great. Old SpongeBob was the best. Second favorite Nickelodeon show.
This is the part of the show where we just talk.
Yeah,
about
this is
old
the part
shows that we.
we're just talking about this. We've given up.
Okay, I have to go with Angry Beavers.
Angry Beavers was all. Or what about Ren and Stimpy?
I like Angry Beavers better.
Ren and Stimpy, man.
Angry Beavers is such a like Ren and Stimpy was very adult, and it was like, let's see what we can get
That's
away
why I
with.
liked it.
Where like Angry Beavers was just like off the wall weird.
I prefer Ren and Stimpy because I was just like, oh, I'm seeing something I'm not supposed to when I was a kid.
Was Ren and Stimpy even on when you were a kid?
They had reruns.
Baloney.
Yeah.
They had reruns on Comedy Central that you were catching.
Ooh.
There's no way. There's no way. Nickelodeon embargoed that show forever.
Yeah. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy. Happy, happy, joy.
Okay. All right. Me too. Me also.
My back.
Me IRL.
My back. Why does my back hurt?
I think we should all we should reenact Frankenstein. Bobby can be Frankenstein. You could be the doctor. I'll be Igor.
Wait, but
Are we talking the classic
Am I-
Frankenstein? Oh, okay. Bobby, you have to
Frankenstein.
pretend to lie down because I gotta do the thingy.
Yeah.
Okay, pretend to
am I
lie.
the doctor or the
Okay,
monster?
you're dead.
You got to tell me to pull the lever.
Okay. Okay, ahem. Igor, pull the lever.
Yes, master. I pull the lever.
Okay, Bobby, move an arm.
I don't know what's going
Arm.
on. All right.
It is. I've done it. It's alive! It's alive! No, I know what it
You
means
told me
to
I was
be
Frankenstein,
God.
but he's the doctor. I'm what?
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be the monster.
Oh, you're the monster.
I'm sorry. The name is Dracula's doctor.
Dracula's doctor. What?
Wolfman. Wolf was the name of the doctor. Man was the name of the beast.
Ha ha ha.
The creature from the Black Lagoon was not named Lagoon. His daughter was named Laguna, though, which is confusing.
Weird.
We got 40 seconds.
Da-na-na-na.
Did you see the other day when that guy won Jeopardy by $1?
Yes! $1! He
And
wins
you
by
bet
one.
everything. And you bet everything. Well, Manny, you're winning again.
With $1.
Dude, I like one day I looked right at the thing that like, and the question was like, in 2000, this company reported a profit of $200 billion. In 2001, they were bankrupt. I'm like, it's Enron. And someone wrote down, what is General Motors? I'm like,
Well, here's the thing. For that $1 question, I'm surprised nobody got it. It's like, what is in between, like, I think it was the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf, and I'm screaming, Iran!
one girl-
It's Iran!
One girl wrote, "What is Tibet?"
What is Tibet?
Tibet. Oh, yeah.
What?
That's totally near a large body of water.
There was one. I was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and like the celebrity question was like really dumb. It was like, what flavor were Twinkies filled with back before World War II? And it was like, is it strawberry, kumquat, chocolate, or banana? And it's banana.
Banana.
It's banana.
Yeah,
and he's
banana.
like, he didn't know. He kept using all his lifeline and stuff. But then they did the odd, like, they did during commercial break this question, like, Tupac Shakur was allegedly engaged to the older sister of which actress? And we're like,
I actually
the
think
answer
I know
was
this.
it was the older sister of Rashida Jones.
Really?
But like, and it was like, how are we supposed to know that? But then it was funny because the celebrity Jeopardy is really dumb. But then regular Jeopardy, or not regular, regular Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Regular Jeopardy.
Here was one of the questions. Okay.
Okay.
Which one of these 4 countries is the only one next to a country with the same number of letters in it?
Okay.
Germany, Italy, Spain, or Switzerland?
I would say I'll go with Switzerland. My final answer.
Okay, no. But he asked the audience, and the audience says, it's Germany. And then he's like, I don't believe them, so I'm going to do the +1. And his wife comes over and says, Germany, Germany, Austria, Austria. I think they're next to each other. I don't know, honey. And he's still like, I'm not sure.
Germany, you idiots.
Like, it's Germany. I got it in like 2 seconds. I can't believe you said Switzerland.
Well,
Liechtenstein has way more letters than that.
We got a tour. Let's say hi to them.
Hello, everyone.
We're the
Hi,
radio.
people.
They can't hear us because the mic's turned down and we're on an 8-second delay.
Okay, well, good.
So we could say whatever we want.
Don't say
mystical kumquats. Cabbages.
I would just like to.
There are people standing here. They are wearing shirts.
No, wait. Nico,
They are
I just
wearing
like.
other shirts.
I'd like to give you the facts right now. 1, bananas are marsupials. 2,
Salmon live in trees
and eat pencils. And 3,
Cars run on gravy.
cars run on gravy. And 4, reforms in South Africa are on the way.
What? What is that?
For those of you who don't get the joke, watch Spitting Images. I've never met a nice South Africa. It's on
Never met a
YouTube.
nice
South
South
African.
African.
Yo, who's never met a nice South African. And
Except-
that's not bloody surprising, min, because we're
we've
a
never met one either.
Either.
Except to Britain back, and he's immigrated to Paris.
Yeah!
He's
He's
one
a nice South African, and he's hardly ever killed anyone, and he doesn't smell it at all. That's why they put him in prison. Mr. Prime Minister,
Mr. Well done.
I am so offended at the fact that your country can criticize mine.
Okay, bye guys. Bye guys. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
hold on.
Okay, tune in next
This has been
week.
Niagara 124. I'm Joe.
I'm Joe.
And I am James. And tune in next week where things will happen. Maybe. I don't even know. This show is a spiraling train wreck.
Hopefully we can upload this video to YouTube, but if we can't, we can't. So
Goodbye.
bye.